Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and it is always a terrific day when long-term friend and colleague and doing unbelievable things in San Diego, has been ever since he came in 1997, but now as the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages, and that is Deacon Jim Vargas. Jim, how you doing?
My friend, it's always good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
That's great. And, listen, my co-host, Kristen Fogel, she's the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and, iconic in her own way, working with a lot of folks to really build up this writing pool we have in San Diego County. But she was saying, God, I get to meet Jim. You keep on talking about Deacon Jim.
Every interview just works his way in.
I don't know.
So here he is, live
Here
and in
he
person.
is. Yeah, it's great to meet you.
It's wonderful meeting you. I'm just blessed.
Yeah, exactly. Kristen, fire away.
Yeah, so just to start us off, what's the mission of Father Joe's Villages?
The mission is to prevent or end homelessness one life at a time.
Okay.
And that mission statement is very short. Yes. Usually mission statements are, right? But there's so much that goes into that, as you can imagine. The humanitarian crisis that now exists in San Diego is unbelievable. I mean, in the latest numbers, for every 10 individuals who are placed into our housing in the community, for every 10, 16 are falling into homelessness. That's been a phenomenon of the last maybe couple of years or so. It's never happened before. So it's just we're constantly trying to help people off the streets, and that's great. And yet more are falling onto the streets, and that's because of the economy. People ask me, and we've talked about this before, Drew. People ask me why. Why is that happening? And it's the economics. I mean, it's just getting very difficult out there. Food insecurity, as an example. 25% of San Diegans are food insecure. That includes quarter of children. Think about that, children, right? And if they're not nourished well, how can they do well in school? They can't learn, right? And so it affects them, and even adults, it affects you physically, higher blood pressure, diabetes, and the like. And so it's very impactful. Seniors, again, impacted by food insecurity as well.
Well, the largest growing segment of homelessness is seniors, are they not?
They are. They are.
And, I think you and I have chatted about this, so many times on this. And then, but I always have to address this. I always have to address this question because I just bristle when I hear people that don't understand how dire the situation is. Well, overwhelming majority of them want to be homeless. And I go, that just shows how ignorant you are.
Yeah.
Address that. Well,
it's interesting. You said just a couple of days ago, I had a similar conversation. I often hear that as well. And the reality is that that's not the case. I mean, we know because we're working with individuals day in and day out. The majority of individuals want off the streets. It's a hard life to be on the streets, right? And if, as an example, if you don't have mental health issues when you fall onto the streets, if you're there chronically, you're going to develop some type of mental health issues, right? So there's that. There's substance use disorder as well, right? And so again, people self-medicate in order to deal with their situations. So people don't want to be on the streets. That said, what we need to do is meet them where they are. And when I say meet them where they are, is recognize their situations and be able to help them in those situations. So that is an example. If a person initially may say, well, I'm fine, I don't need anything. Well, first of all, they may be leery of you anyway because of past disappointments, as an example, because of past abuses, right? Past situations. When you really get to know them and they open and they trust and then you realize that they're victims of domestic violence, right? So, or they have PTSD. Well, it's no wonder initially they say, I'm fine here. It's because they don't want to go into a congregate setting because psychologically they can't deal with that. Doesn't mean they want to be on the streets, right? So what else can you do for these individuals? Well, non-congregate settings, right? We've been advocating for non-congregate settings because they can then deal with that. They can cope with that more, right? So that's just one of many, many examples. If someone who has substance use disorder, if you just in that situation, someone who suffers from that, realize that their entire world at that point revolves around those substances, right? So in trying to help them, you can't expect them to just get off the substances and be sober in order to then help them. You have to recognize, hey, you know what? I understand you're on substances. Let me help you, right, in that situation so that in time, we can wean them off of those substances through medication-assisted treatment, as an example, right? So that which helps them to do just that. So again, you have to understand the circumstances and be able to work with those circumstances.
I think one of the things that you see back and forth, and it puzzles people, and they had once said, okay, we're passing an ordinance or whatever they're going to pass, no tents on the street, right? Then you see tents on the street, right? Well, I thought they were passing this. Well, they can't pass it because there's nowhere for them to go or something like that. Talk about how that dynamic works.
Well, just most recently in the city of San Diego and some other cities, actually in the county as well, have passed those types of ordinances where no encampments, basically.
Right.
And by the way, I'd be the first to say that these encampments are not good. Not good for the people who reside therein. I mean, think about it. It's not a healthy situation for them.
Right.
It is not a safe situation for them. It's communicable diseases spread in that way.
Hepatitis.
So I'd be the first to say not good for the individuals who reside therein. Also not good for the community.
Right.
Not good for the local businesses and residents, right? That said, what are we going to do as a community? Right? What we need to do is step up and say, okay, fine. Then we need more shelter beds, right? In order to be able to help them, at least in the immediacy. In the end, by the way, a shelter bed is just a stopgap. At the end, what breaks the cycle of homelessness is a home. I mean, similar to, as Drew knows, the affordable housing that we've been building over the years, such as the one we opened last year, St. Teresa of Calcutta Villa, 407 homes. Think about that. Over 500 people we've been able to take off the streets or kept them from falling onto the streets. So there's that situation. So yes, the encampments are not good, but what are we putting in place? What's the infrastructure? There have been more shelter beds that are being opened up in the city of San Diego, and we need much more of that. I mean, think about it. In the last point in time count, 10,300 individuals, and that one night were found to be homeless, half of whom were on the streets. Right, so that's 5,200 people, right, who are on the streets, right? So we don't have enough shelter beds. Some are being opened. We need even more of those, and then we need, as I mentioned on the affordable housing side, we need to streamline the processes. It's very onerous. That building that I just mentioned, St. Teresa of Calcutta, it took 5 years from inception to ribbon cutting. People in the industry, the development industry, have said to me, Deacon, how were you able to get it done in only 5 years? It only took you 5 years? And I'm dying. I mean, I'm saying, are you kidding me? I mean, this is ridiculous. And it was a 2-year build, by the way. That's more than reasonable. But the 3 years to get there, that's permitting and entitlement, right? And again, we need to streamline some more funding because 95% of the building is publicly funded, state, city, federal funds. That said, very onerous to get to those funds, right? The government agencies need to streamline those processes because there are people who are suffering on the streets. So, long way of answering your question, Drew. These encampments, right? Yes, I don't think they're good for the community as a whole and the individuals. That said, we need to do better as a community in this great city of ours, right? Why should we have so many people who are suffering on the streets?
Yeah, without question. We're chatting with Deacon Jim Vargas. He's the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Been doing great things in San Diego for more than 6 decades, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. Kristen, got a question for Jim?
I do, yeah. So, I mean, when I think about Father Joe's Villages, I think of homelessness and everything like that. You've mentioned one of the projects with St. Teresa of Calcutta, Little Flower, if I remember from my St.
Very good.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's right.
Yes, I do like the Saints. I went to Catholic school for 13 years.
That's right.
Tell us about some of your other overarching programs, if for someone who's listening,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Health. Let's talk about health.
Yeah.
We have a federally qualified health center, right?
Okay.
Anywhere from well, in all disciplines, primary care, but also including behavioral health clinics. So we have substance use disorder treatment. We also have psychiatric clinicians, right, within it, that offer therapy, both group therapy and individual therapy. We have a dental clinic. If you come and visit, you'll see a wall of smiles before and after restorative dentistry. Very, very key. Right? Everything we do, it's intentional. So yes, it's great for self-esteem, absolutely, and digestion starts in the mouth because a lot of individuals have lost their teeth due to malnutrition, right? So, but that's it. On a practical basis, you look at that wall, and I always ask when I'm giving tours, I say, who's going to get that job? Is it this person or this person? The one with teeth or the one without?
Yeah.
Who's going to find that, be able to get that apartment? It's the same type of situation. So practically speaking, that's an important element. And then we instituted the year before COVID hit, actually 2019, a street health program, first of its kind in the county of San Diego, where we go out, again, meeting people where they are. A third of those who are on the streets will not access medicine in a traditional way, in brick and mortar, like you and I would. They'll just stay on the streets. And they're literally dying on the streets, right? So this is a way of going out there and tending to their needs, binding wounds, dispensing medication. Now this year, we also deployed psychiatric clinicians because people suffering from mental health challenges.
Yeah.
So they're out there as well. It's making a tremendous difference. And again, it's getting people to open up, right? And it takes time. I remember a story, one of our outreach workers came back. There's so many stories, but she said that they were encountering this one lady out there. And every time the lady said, I'm fine, leave me alone, okay? But they never gave up. The next day they were out there again saying hello. All you do is a bottle of water, just connecting. It took, I think, almost 6 months, I think they mentioned, right? And at one point, and now the lady relays this herself, by the way, right? Because she's in a much better place due to our intervention, where she says, I finally decided these clowns, they keep coming back every single day, right? And they don't seem to get it. And so she started interacting. You fast forward, she's off the streets. We've been able to help her in such tremendous ways, but it took a long time. It took tenacity, right? And it's just not giving up on people and recognizing that people are at different stages, I like to say, on the journey out of homelessness, right? And it's just recognizing they didn't know initially what was at play. What were her experiences? Why was it that she didn't want to? And then they found out there was a lot of stuff that was at play from her background, right? Abuse and so many things, right? And so it is. This is the work that we do, the work that we love to do. It's very challenging, but it's so very rewarding.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Jim, when we come back from break, I want to talk about something that is the bread and butter of what you do. Obviously, listen, you need money to build these things. There's no question. But volunteerism, I want to talk about how critical that is. You can never have enough volunteers. And the people think they only need volunteers around the holidays. I said homelessness doesn't know dates. Homelessness can be any time of the year. Let's talk about that.
We will. As
well. And then we always save time. What can our listeners do? Obviously, volunteer, contribute in X, Y, and Z. But if there's something else that they can do, it doesn't take much effort for someone to reach out and lend a hand. We return with Deacon Jim Vargas. He's the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year, joined by Kristen Fogel, Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year. We are joined by Deacon Jim Vargas, the president and CEO of Father Joe's Villages, who are brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. An honor to have my co-host now in her finishing her fourth month, right?
It's been about 6 or 7 years.
Okay,
yes.
We've been doing this for 7 years,
Yes.
even though I've never recognized you up until 4 months ago. So,
Oh, rude.
That's right, exactly. Kristen Fogel is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. You know, Jim, before I toss it over to Kristen for a couple questions, talk about just the critical need for volunteers.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I love our volunteers. We have about 5,000 volunteers at this point. Pre-COVID, by the way, it was about 10,000.
Wow.
And when we're getting slowly but surely, we're getting up to those ranks again. But even at 5,000, think about that.
Yeah.
And the value. That's about the monetary value of their work, their service is about
Millions.
$1 million, right? I
Easy.
mean, it's very important, and it's across all the disciplines. Of course, a lot of them serve meals. We serve 1 million meals a year. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in 2 dining rooms, so they get to help us each day to be able to serve those meals. And I love having them. And these volunteers always. They tell me how they get so much out of the experience. They love doing it, and of course, our residents really love having them. And so so the volunteers are very, very important. And again, they're across different disciplines. So that if you have a skill, maybe it's a health skill, maybe it's a teaching skill, whatever it is, believe me, we could put you to use at our facility. Kristen, you had asked about the various programs.
Yeah.
Children, I just mentioned teachers, right? We have our therapeutic childcare center. I mean, these kids who come to us are academically, emotionally, socially delayed. Right? We know that they're 4 times more apt to be homeless in adulthood unless we mitigate their circumstances, right? So the therapeutic childcare center, the professionals that we have there, work with these kids in order to bring them up to their peer level so they can compete appropriately, adequately. And also working with the parents to build familial bonds, because a lot of times that doesn't exist either, right? So, or working with in the employment center, we have skills where you could help work in the employment center. We have vocational training, right? Different disciplines, culinary arts. I was just at the culinary arts graduation just yesterday. I love to see these individuals because they feel such a sense of accomplishment. They've gone through the program. We're now handing out their degrees, basically, the certificates of completion, and then they're able to be chefs at the different resorts and hotels and so forth. And I was so proud of the ones who yesterday graduated. And you could they're sitting up straight and they're feeling a sense of accomplishment. I mean, all we do is we tap into their potential. They have it in them. Sometimes they've lost the hope, and then they feel the potential is not there anymore. But they haven't. So we tap it into their potential, and they do the work. So the employment center is such an important element as well. And so volunteers, to answer your question, get involved in all these aspects of what we do. I mean, there's so much to be done, Drew.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Kristen, to ask a question.
Well, I was just going to ask a follow-up about volunteering. I assume that there are opportunities for kind of one-time volunteer opportunities, and also it seems like it could go on indefinitely, lots of different ways to get involved.
Absolutely. I have individuals who every single week they serve a lunch meal there, and they've been doing it forever. Right? Congregation Beth Israel, by the way, one of our long-standing congregations and relationships. I love that relationship. Rabbi Nevadis and I have developed such a nice relationship. And every single Sunday morning for 40 years, they've served breakfast every single Sunday without missing one, except through COVID. That was difficult. But other than that, and so there are many ways, and yet there are others who come in and they serve one meal, and they contact us, and they want to expose their children, as an example, or our teenagers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I have a 5-year-old, and spirit of giving and all of that is very important to us. So I was thinking of ways to perhaps get our family involved.
Right, and not at 5. And I say not at 5 only because we have an age limit of 10. And so because when it's around the kitchen and so forth can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we do say 10 if they're accompanied with an adult. But we love having the children because it gives them a sense of, so that they recognize how blessed they are.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that not everyone is as blessed, right? And I applaud you for thinking of doing that. I know I did it with my kids, right? And now my kids are, as Drew knows, he knows my children.
I do.
And they're 39 and 40,
Yeah.
right?
I believe it.
And they are giving back.
Yeah.
And they're giving back because they know they've been blessed in life, right?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think too, not only that they're blessed, but my kiddo sees me around the school doing things constantly. So I want him to grow up thinking like, this is just what we do as being part of a community, as giving back to each other, is helping if we have the needs, so.
Well, you're spot on. What I was going to say, it's a habit. And, it's like reading. If you see your parents reading or see your parents doing this, and he's watching you do these things, and 100% correct. My mom and dad, there was a spirit of giving back when I grew up. And obviously I wound up doing a lot of stuff with nonprofits. How that works. And I think, Jim, you and I have talked about this a million times, and I probably touched on it a little bit too, Kristen. It always amazes me when people say, well, what value can I give to Father Joe's? I mean, and volunteer. Are you kidding me? Give Jim 10 minutes with you, and you're going to have 5,500 jobs. There is always something you can do. And so the best advice I ever got from a CEO many, many years ago was, listen, what is your passion? Your passion you may not think could help a nonprofit. Are you kidding? You love to paint? We'll put you to painting. You love to do cabinets? We'll do X, Y, and Z. You love to play music? Teach the kids how to play music. Everybody has a passion on something, and they can help. Talk about how that would help you.
It does help me. In fact, some people come in and they have an idea. I love to listen to ideas. Maybe we haven't done it before.
That's right.
But they're willing to give of themselves to accomplish it. I love it. We'll do it. You mentioned painting. Just the day before yesterday, I passed by one of our rooms. It wasn't scheduled for me because I was going from one activity to another, but I noticed there was activity in this room. And I went in. It was a painting class. All right. And there were 3 volunteers there, and they come in every week, every Wednesday, right? Every Wednesday. And this is what they do. And I admired the work that was being done. I'm not talented that way, by the way. I admired the work that was being done. Some of them quite talented, actually, right? Cool. And this is a way, it's almost therapy, right? With what's going on in their lives. Yes. This is a way of, they were doing watercolors is what it was. So that's just, you're absolutely right. I mean, so I love people to come in with ideas, and sometimes actually some people come in with programmatic ideas. Like, what if there was a program of this nature? And when they say to me, and I will fund it, I give them a big hug, all right? Because a lot of times I get people who have good ideas about programs. They're very costly.
Yes.
Right.
But there's no funding behind it, right? So how can I do it? But so there are many, many different ways, Drew, to your point. And then also, if you just getting involved by way of gifting, not only the money, cash, that's important, of course, but also household goods. We have trucks, and Drew knows this because he experienced it personally.
It was perfect.
We have trucks who go to preset appointments to people's homes. They went to Drew's home.
Yeah, it was actually, they did even better. They went to my storage unit, and it was so easy. And they were very magnanimous, and I wasn't giving them stuff they couldn't help, but there was a lot of stuff I had, and they go, we'll take that too. It was huge.
That's great.
Obviously, it benefits them. It gets stuff out of the storage. You've been going, why have I been keeping this thing for a while? In fact, I've got to go ahead and ring you up to whatever the lady's name that runs that, and have another go around this time at my house. But there's so much you can do in this area. And I know, Jim, what's really important for you, and this is just a call out to our listeners, is getting new volunteers, getting people who have never been, because whatever reason, why, I don't know if I want to get into that. These guys touch your heart. And once you've been there and you've done something, whether it's reading a book or donating a book or helping with stuff, you're going to be in there helping for quite a while.
Oh, absolutely right. Believe you me, you will get more out of it then you think you're even giving. Right?
That's right.
Because you get a sense of satisfaction. It's innate in us. I mean, it's built in us that we're not just about ourselves, that the world does not revolve around us, right? That we're meant to be community in some fashion. And this is what this is, so that when you come in, you get this sense of community. You're providing community, but you're also getting a sense of community. And so you have a sense of fulfillment as a result. It's really built into us. It's in our DNA.
Yeah.
And so you're absolutely right. So I encourage people to come in and even if they don't know exactly what can they do, and I get that question.
Right.
And then we say, well, what about this? And the good thing about us is that we're so diverse and so comprehensive that really there's so many opportunities out there. And so we talk to people about that. It's not just serving a meal, though serving a meal is wonderful, and we appreciate that. And by the way, that donation that you made as an example is form of volunteerism in a sense, right? So that donation that you made, what do? We either sell it at our thrift stores, or if there's furniture and so forth, sometimes that goes through our auction house. But it all gets converted into dollars and then services and programs, boats, automobiles. I mean, all these that we get, these
Well, you
donations.
wouldn't have taken my automobile.
Yeah, Drew was talking about getting rid of his
I got a
boat.
nice one.
Didn't you say you wanted to donate your boat? Just kidding.
I'm not going to donate the boat.
But in time, you may not need that boat anymore for one reason or another. You never know, right? So just think about it.
When they quit concerts at Humphreys, then I'll get
Oh, I know. That's right. Yeah, I know you used it for the Humphreys
I do it for the Humphreys concert.
Right.
Jim, any final comments for our listeners?
Well, first of all, thank you. All right, first and foremost, and I thank your listeners as well, because your listeners are generous to us, and we can't. The only way we do our work is through the generosity of your listeners. Otherwise, we just couldn't do it. I mean, as comprehensive as our programs are,
right,
it takes funding, right? Yeah. So I encourage people, especially at this time of year, it's a giving time of year, right? So I encourage people to donate, to call us, neighbor.org. By the way, it's our website, neighbor.org, or 619 homeless. To give us a call to see how donations can work. Legacies, leaving your legacy. People call us for bequests so that we're named as beneficiaries within their wills and estates. That's helpful as well. And then, as we mentioned, just donating items and the like. And there's just so many ways to get involved and feel a sense of fulfillment. This is a humanitarian crisis that we have in the county of San
100%.
Diego. I mean, it absolutely is. And so we need, if you think about it, most people with whom I speak, even outside of my circle, in a sense, think that homelessness is one of the key priorities that needs to be addressed, right? So
absolutely,
there are ways to get involved.
It is, yeah, and that's the one that you have to do is you have to get involved, whichever way that is. Kristen, any final comments?
No, I'm just happy to meet the man, the myth, the legend, finally,
my gosh.
and to learn more about Father Joe.
You guys are way too kind. No, we're blessed to do what we do, and it's a pleasure meeting you, Kristen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, Deacon Jim, listen, wishing you and that beautiful family of yours and all those folks that are doing great things for Father Joe's Villages, just nothing but a wonderful holiday season that finds you getting boatloads of money to do more shelters for all these folks that are in great need, and be healthy, be happy, peaceful, and give my best to Francis and everyone.
I will. Thank you so much. And today's the last day of Hanukkah. So for those
thank you.
Who are Jewish out there, I hope you had a great festival of lights, and this is just the beginning of your New Year in a sense.
Well, since we do both, Sammy gets both. My daughter Samantha, who Jim has known before she was born, I believe, and gets both. She gets the 8 days of Hanukkah, and then we'll just go rip right into the 12 days of Christmas.
That's
right?
Well, then Christmas again, and a blessed Christmas to those who celebrate Christmas. It's coming up so very quickly, a week from this coming Monday.
Well, one of these days I'm going to understand how to slow down the world. And I can't believe it is December the 15th, 2023, because wasn't it 2022 last week?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Great seeing you, my good friend, and we'll look
Likewise.
forward to having you come back on sooner than later.
God bless you. Thank you, Drew.
Absolutely. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight, the community show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now doing it for 17 years. Been honored to chat with Deacon Jim Vargas, President and CEO of Father Joe's Villages. Also honored to have this wonderful co-host of mine, Kristen Fogel. She is the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.